Hi, everyone. So I am here with a woman who needs no introduction, but I will go ahead and do it because my mom is listening. We are here with Tinx, content creator, podcaster, writer, multi-hyphenate. We're so happy you could be here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. My first question is, who calls you Christina and who calls you Tinx?
Oh, gosh. My mom still calls me Christina. I have a few friends that choose Christina over Tinx, but mostly everybody calls me Tinx. Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I think like the thing about you now is like you're kind of this like 21st century Renaissance woman at this point. Like you host a podcast, design products, all these kinds of things. What point were you like, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is write a novel?
I think last year, or I guess 2 years ago, I really started wanting to do something that was purely creative and something that was kind of a little bit separate from me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved writing my little rich mom characters on my Instagram, and I just kept thinking, like, what would it happen if I finished one of these women's stories?
Mm.
And I was just ready to do something that was more, that there was, separation between me and the project. So that, they're fiction.
The book. Give me your hot like 10-second pitch.
So Hotter in the Hamptons is a spicy beach read that follows influencer Lola on a whirlwind summer fling that she embarks on after her life is torn to pieces.
Light. Yeah. I mean, and obviously important, Tinx lore, you were an English major.
Yes.
And I was a creative writing major, and as I know and have been told by other English majors, they are not the same thing. But did you do creative writing in college specifically?
Yeah, I took a bunch of creative writing classes, so it was more of a blend. But I loved all things reading and writing in college, and I loved it all.
I fear all of my college creative classes were like people like trauma dumping.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of like skipped that, which is great because I feel like that would have really annoyed me. But we had a lot of really great prompts, and I just love that you could just write anything. You could just like make it up. And I love the freedom of that. So it was nice to return to something that felt so freeing without any parameters.
How long did you work on it?
The book?
Yeah.
So it was like last year, I guess like a year and a half, because it was like right around Christmas time that I called my agent, and I had written the proposal for another nonfiction book, and we were about to take it out. And I was like, I just have this idea for this like universe of cool women who are really complicated, and they all like go on these adventures, and they like look really fabulous doing it. And my agent was like, yeah, this is cool. You should do this.
So like, what was do you feel like you said it definitely came from like your characters on like TikTok? Like what made you think like this book?
Honestly, Lola was like the character that dropped into my head.
Yeah.
I had, some inspiration from my followers. They're my number one inspiration. And some of the questions that they were asking me on AMA kind of got me thinking, this is a fantasy that a lot of women have. And so I was kind of inspired by them as always. And I also, I just had this idea of like a book that was pure escapism in the Hamptons and about, a protagonist that was kind of unlikable, but like she grows throughout it. So
she does. She like does. Gets in there. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. We're all works in progress. I just like, when I was reading a lot of romance in preparation for writing this book, I loved it. I loved how it made me feel. I loved like the escapism of it all, but I just felt like the characters were oftentimes like one-dimensional because they're so perfect.
Yes.
And like, of course, it's fun to read about like princesses and, princes and like whatever, but I just wanted a girl so that my girls can read it and be like, oh, well, she's fucked up and I'm a little bit fucked up too, and that's okay because we all are.
And she can still have a win.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I feel that way. I love romance novels. I actually did like some of my thesis work in journalism school for it. And I think like the thing about romance novels is they're just so predictable.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways that is like both comforting and the reason they get written off.
Totally. Yeah. I like, without giving anything away, I also wanted the book to reflect like what a lot of my followers are going through and what they're experiencing. And, I wanted to reflect the times that we're living in.
Yeah. And I guess, like, have you always been a romance girly, or is this something new?
No, it's newer for me. I have a couple of my friends who got really into it, and then I had read this article that was like, romance books are the only category that's growing. And like, I obviously see the hype on BookTok, so I was like really interested to learn more. And it's a very like tight-knit community, and they have like a lot of rules and a lot of, things that they like a certain way. So I was both like inspired and intimidated by the romance.
Well, it's the tropes.
Right.
It's all about the tropes.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite trope?
I mean, I love enemies to lovers. I think it's very satisfying. But, again, my book doesn't necessarily fit the mold of traditional romance. And we honestly we had a couple meetings with publishers, and they were like, yeah, no one's going to go for this ending. And I was like, well, I think that's okay. Like, I think I'm okay with that. I want people I want to make like a new little area for girls who like romance, but also kind of want it to be a little real.
Well, the thing with romance novels is it's always about having like HEA, happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think everyone has their own definition.
Totally.
Because I felt I had heard rumblings of that, of maybe the book going along a different path before I had finished it. Mm-hmm. And I got to the end and I was like, I don't get what everyone's yapping about. Yeah. Like, this is it. This is it.
Totally. It is. It's just like thought about in a new way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also think too, like in this world where like Charlie, Chappell, Sabrina, Tyla, Doechii, like they're ruling the world right now, and like hyper femininity is like dominating the culture, we still live in the real world, which means like romance novels and anything that can be like designated as a beach read is kind of like written off. Mm-hmm. Like, as a newly minted romance author, what are some of the like misconceptions you feel like particularly you wanted to maybe come up against as you wrote this?
I just think that the idea that they're not like valuable is so silly and so like obviously false to me. I think that escapism and art in that form is so important now more than ever. Mm-hmm. I really believe we need to escape. We need to allow for creativity and levity, and so I think that that's just what I want to challenge. Is like, I'm so proud to say that my book is a beach read. Like, that's how I want it to be known. And I for me, I'm just trying to change the perception that that's not cool and valuable, because I think it is. I hope I write 20 beach reads. Like, I'm like, yeah.
And then I guess we talked a little bit about this, but how this is truly one of the only industries within like the book industry that's actually growing, or the only genres. Like, why do you think that's happening?
To me, I always like make the thing that I want to consume, whether it's a TikTok, a podcast, a book. And I just think that people like escapism. People want to read about love and fun and sex and happiness. And for me, like, I wanted to really amp those things up and put it all against this beautiful backdrop, because the world is a really scary place now, and we need a minute.
It seems like, though, like the larger culture often feels like a lot of like disdain, and even like outright makes fun of like these things women love, like Taylor Swift and even like K-pop and like Twilight, which like I, again, will ride for Twilight. But like, why?
I think that just to be a woman is just to be like criticized every step of the way. I just don't think that we're there yet in terms of like everything that we do is either too basic or too this or too pick me or too slutty or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's just like, to exist as a woman is like just to be made fun of. So, which is very sad. And it's all the more reason to do exactly what you want and not like, and try to ignore those criticisms, because what does it matter? If you like it, you like it.
Yes, absolutely. I want to go back to one thing you just said too, which was things getting a little slutty. What was it like writing a steamy novel?
I mean, I love talking about sex. I always have. And we talk about it a lot on my show and in my community. So it was honestly really fun. Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
I feel like I would initially have, just because I think obviously women are kind of encouraged to kind of downplay that part of them. I feel like I would have secondhand embarrassment maybe at writing it at first. Did you go through that at all?
I feel like sometimes I have pangs now where I'm like, oh, like I hate that that's in my writing. Like, why did I do that? But then I'm like, we're all going to die. Who cares?
When I was in journalism school, one thing that I was super interested in was audiobook narrators. And I was like, I'm going to do an article on this or whatever. You did journalism as well. So like I'm sure you kind of fashion journalism, right?
Yeah, fashion journalism.
So I reached out to this woman who's an audiobook narrator, and she had a couple like romance novels like under her belt, and I was like, oh cool, like I'll see if I can get a hold of her. And then of course, like when you're doing a project like this, you're like, I got to reach out to multiple people to make sure that I actually find someone. And so I reached out to another one. She had like a much more broad list of romance novels. It turns out they were the same person.
Oh my God.
And she had to have an entirely different like name for the romance novel audiobooks because people would just write her off for any other type of novel.
That's so crazy.
And it just pissed me off.
We forget like how puritanical America is. It's really, its roots are all like super Puritan.
And also very like shame-based.
Super shame-based. Like people just deal with an incredible amount of shame when it comes to sexuality and fantasy. That was like also part of the inspiration for this book. And it's really insane to me that people have so much shame around sexuality, but they don't have shame around some other stuff that I find that's actually insane. Yeah.
Well, too, and when I opened, I got the book. We ordered like a ton of pre-orders because we're gonna like give them out to followers. And I opened the book, and I think I opened it to like she's already like soaking wet, and I was like, ah!
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, you're like, well, what are we giving to people? Yeah, I love
it. But like, I don't know. I think it's also like in the idea of like normalizing. Not normalizing, but just like let's just like bodies are bodies, people are people.
Yeah, I think the sooner you kind of accept that, the more fun you can have.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I guess kind of like shifting gears. I had this question that came up that I really wanted to ask you, which was, I think it can feel, having come again from like a bit of a writing background, it can feel very instinctive to write what you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember like that was all, like I said, people trauma dumping in my creative writing classes in college. But like, I dare anyone to like write something and like not create a character that has even a little bit of them within it.
Mm-hmm.
I think like, how do you, as someone who is in the public eye, how do you go around like establishing boundaries about parts of yourself you're down to use in your work and parts that are off limits?
I mean, obviously I'm an influencer, so I put like the job in, which is a big part of me. And I think all the time about like becoming boring as an influencer, which is where the whole like blandification thing came from, which is ironic because a couple months ago we had the whole like New York influencers are boring thing on the internet, which is crazy timing.
And you were like,
I was like, yeah. And like, I think about it all the time, like little things. So I think for me, that was like the part of me that I put in. And also like Ryan is based on my best friend. So there's that. And then for the rest of it, like Lola is honestly a meditation in like my worst nightmare because she's someone who doesn't have a lot of friends. She's someone who totally loses herself in a relationship. She's someone who like doesn't have a strong hold of her identity, which are all things that really scare me. So I think there's parts of things that I know in there, but Lola she's not me.
Yeah. No. And I think too, like how do you navigate the assumptions that this character is an extension of you?
The older I get and the more time I spend in the public eye, I'm like, what people think is their business. Like, if you want to believe that, then you can. Like, that's okay. Like, I'm really in a place now in my career where I'm just trying to focus on making things that I feel good about and that like I feel I've tried hard on. And people's interpretation, they're welcome to that. You know what I mean? Like if they think that or they want to think that, that's okay. Like that's not my business, honestly.
Yeah. How do you feel like you got there? That sounds really I'm like thinking about like me getting to the point in my life where I can say that and my therapist would be like, I'm done, I'm gonna walk out.
I'm dead. No, I mean I'm not fully there yet, but I think you do get like I'm an internet person. I've been on the internet for 5 years. Like and it's really used to bother me when I would feel misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And you just drive yourself crazy. And like no amount of protest can help you. Like you can't correct everybody's opinion. You can't go like comment by comment, line by line and be like, well, this is why this isn't true. Like
prove that you can't prove everyone wrong.
You can't. Like largely if people are going to like you, they're going to like you. And if they don't, they're they're not going to. And like letting go of trying to fix my relationship with every person on the internet has been hugely helpful for my mental health. Like,
that rocks.
You can't.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still a work in progress, but I'm definitely trying to work hard on that right now.
Yeah. Well, I also think that's also why I was mentioned to you when you first got here, how in a great way, how quickly I read the book.
And I wanted people to read it fast.
Yes.
Like, I don't want anybody to sit there struggling by the pool. Like, I want people to have like 2
you need
glasses
to be a little bit
of
of
wine.
drunk. Yes.
And you still get the whole point. Like I feel like so much of what I do is so serious, and I love that, and I feel honored, like so much of on my show and whatever. And I wanted something that was just like escapism, like fun, lighthearted, like horny, all that stuff. So I don't know if I achieved that, but
no, I think you did.
Yeah.
But I think I read it so quickly because of, I honestly think at this point, having read so many romance novels, like similar to what you said before, like the character being perfect or something like that, it almost makes it harder to read at this point. And I think it was just so engaging to have someone who wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And who like at moments like fucks up.
Totally.
And,
she does.
Yeah.
Like she's annoying. Like she's Carrie Bradshaw-esque, and that you're kind of like, why are you doing that? Or like, why are you saying that? Like, it's so awkward. But those are the characters that you remember, because it's like, if they're perfect, like I read a romance novel last year that I actually really liked, but the main girl was so like, I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like people are going to remember Lola.
Yeah. How'd you pick her name?
I wanted something that was like a name that I wish I had. Like sexy, cool, like effortlessly chic, like, I don't know.
When I would play house when I was little, mine was Crystal.
Yeah, it's like, the names you want when you're little. Like, I wanted it to be a name like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I do. It is, again, a name that's unusual, I think.
Yeah. It's unusual, but it's like sexy and cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is sexy and cool.
She is, yeah.
She's like, I was reading it and I was like, all these women sound so hot.
Totally.
Like, which I fucking love.
Yeah. Everybody in the book is hot. Like everybody.
And like it should be. It's escapism.
It's escapism. Like, I don't want, there's this line where like they're interviewing in Sex and the City. They're interviewing like Pat Field about like the finances of Carrie's closet.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're like, well, how does Carrie have all the money for clothes? And she's like, I don't know. Like, that's not the issue of this show. And I just like always think about that. And I'm like, I didn't want there to be any like problems like that in this book. It was like, everything's beautiful. Like, nothing hurts.
Yeah. I felt like there was so much thought that you put into like having her have relationships with both men and women.
Yeah.
And how that she didn't want to be put in a box.
Yeah.
It just really resonated with me.
I think like it's a fantasy that a lot of straight women have, is to be with a woman and to try it. And that's something that like I hear a lot from my community.
Yes.
And like I also wanted it to be like a storyline that I've heard, which is like trying something new and exploring, but not wanting to like label yourself. Like I wanted it to be real in that sense. And yeah, like if it awakens the mind of one person, then I've done my job right.
Well, I think, and even just like awakening in the sense that like maybe it doesn't change how they live their life, but it changes how like they view other people living their own.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I have like a majority straight women who follow me. So I think like that was absolutely something in my mind. Like I could have written this book with just like a hot girl who goes and has an affair in the Hamptons, like with a guy in the summer. Like I'm sure my audience would have eaten that up too. But I just felt like a lot of women have this fantasy, and we had been talking about it on AMA like over a year ago with my community, and like it just stuck in my head, and I kind of just wanted to explore that and have this was like Lola's journey.
I wanted one thing as like a writer person, I want to ask you about, what was it like writing an entire book? Did you have to do a lot of research?
No, I really like that was the part that was easiest. Like I had a whole list of all the references that I want to put in it, all the brands, all the places, just because that was really important to me. Like I really wanted it to be a book where there was like so many brands and so many names in it, because I love those types of books. Like someone
you really picture it.
Yeah. And also just like, I think when I was little and I wanted to be like in the glamorous world, like someone referred to Bergdorf Blondes on my Insta. They were like, that's what it is. And I loved that book. Like, I loved that book. I loved Devil Wears Prada. I loved the Gossip Girl books because they were so full of brands. And like, I just wanted to know about that world. So that's really what I wanted to create with this book is like, you know what flat she's wearing, you know what type of wine she's drinking, like, you know, all that stuff because there's someone who's going to read it who hasn't been to the Hamptons and I want them to feel it. Like I want them to feel what that life is like and like be able to picture Lola's dress and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Kate dress. I was like,
exactly.
I was like, oh, I really want that now.
Yeah.
I was like, yellow looks awful on me, but I'm
like,
interested.
She has so much. She's the best closet. Like she really does.
I think too, I don't know if this was intentional and maybe I'm totally reading this wrong. I thought it was so interesting. At least what I noticed was a lot of the mention of the specific brands at the beginning. And then as she kind of like went through her journey, they dropped off a little and like dropped off a little. And like, I thought that, I don't know if it was intentional, but I thought it fit.
Yeah, you can definitely see like her growing through like her fashion choices. And like if you put all the outfits, like which I would love if like, I hope when we make the show, like you'll be able to see it more, but it's like, the clothes are something that I thought about a lot because clothes are really important to her and they've always been a way that she kind of expresses herself in her creativity. And for me too, like, I guess that's one other commonality we have is like, it's such a reflection of like how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So if you track like what she wears, it's definitely changes throughout the book because she, you know, at first she's just so wrapped up in this world where brands matter so much to her. And it's like, she puts so much thought into it. And then, you know, by the end of the book, she's thinking about clothes in she's rethinking about them in a way that she used to, which is more meaningful to her.
Yeah. What was like the toughest, was there a point where you got like intense writer's block or you were just like, are we going to keep doing this or?
Well, I mean, I'm not queer and that's why I wanted to work with an amazing queer collaborator because like I wanted to get that lived experience. Yeah. So I would say.
I think that's so admirable.
Yeah, no, it was the right
thing to do.
It was totally, and she's an amazing writer, and like that was so important to me because again, like I think it's so important to have like queer voices when there are queer characters. Yeah. So, I mean, I think those parts would have been incredibly difficult because I don't have that lived experience, but luckily I worked with someone who did.
Mm-hmm. One like unruly bit, and I'm not just saying that because I work at this brand and I love a great review at the end of the year, but when she was talking about the stubble that appears around her bikini line, I felt that so hard.
Yeah.
I felt so seen. I felt like why haven't other people talked about this before?
No,
you don't read about it.
It's such a thing. And we all think about it. Yeah. Like everybody. So it's like, be real.
Yeah. And then what was another one? Oh, this I also loved. Good sex is about communication. The idea of someone not knowing what to do with my body is not necessarily a turn on for me. Again, brilliant.
Thank you.
because that sounds shitty.
You know, like you get it. Like I get it. We all get it.
And it's also something that it almost like makes me want to like stand up for myself more, not in like my sex life or anything like that, but just like, hey, I don't really want to do that.
Totally. Like that, the level of like clarity that she's able to like in that moment is like something I aspire to as well.
Yeah. And then of course, one part where I felt like I really just like felt again the pains of being a woman when she's talking about, let's see here. She wanted to meet Emmett. She wanted to make clothes. She wanted to gain back the trust of her followers. She wanted Allie, but she didn't want Allie to ignore her.
Yeah.
But maybe wanted Justin. And it's like,
that's literally how I feel at all times.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't have like between sleep, friends, romance, job, and working out and fun. There's 6. Like I always say this to my friends. You can only have like 2 balls in the air at the time.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff is like complete disaster. Like you can't have it all at the same time. And like, I just feel like that all the time. I'm like, I want good skin, but I want like to go out, but I want to work hard, but I want to have fun and I want to do that. Like that's basically being a woman.
I will be asking everyone on the show this. What's the most unruly thing you've done this week?
I hope that it's this weekend. I hope I haven't done it yet.
It's coming.
And I hope it involves like being flirty with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do a little game. We call it ... I'm going to give you a prompt, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and finish the sentence. Most random place you've ever met a suitor.
Oh my God, where is the most random place? I don't know. Vacation. That's so boring.
Give me a place.
The Galapagos Islands.
That's pretty good.
That was unique. Yeah.
Yep.
It was
all
a
right.
good one.
That's about as specific as one could get. Yeah. Quickest I've ever gotten the ick.
Like before I've met them, because it's like an online thing. Like they have something really bad on their IG or something.
What's the like actual? This is even written down. Best app pickup line you've had.
I usually say, "What's your Uber rating?" It's a good like chatty starter.
Yeah.
Or I say, "Come home, the kids miss you." Because it's like if you don't banter back to that, then like we're never gonna make it.
Then you're no fun.
Yeah.
I met my boyfriend on Tinder. We've been together for 8 years.
Oh my God.
Which I'm like, okay. But his was so sincere.
What did he say?
I had a picture of me in Prague because I was a study abroad girly during my lipstick phase, and he was like, "Is that Prague in your background?" And I was like,
"Aw,
it is.
That's cute."
Yeah,
dude. The apps used to be really good.
They did.
They used to be so useful, and now they're trash.
Yeah,
it's so sad. But
I like to look at people's profiles of like my friends.
Not good anymore. Yeah. But you got out. You're good.
I got out. Let's see. Hopefully we don't.
No, you won't. You
won't. Most romantic gesture I've ever seen was
one time a guy. He paid my parking ticket for me because he saw that it was gonna, and I just thought that was like the best thing ever.
I think that is
because he knew I didn't know how to pay it.
Yep.
And I was like, wow. That's acts of service. That's my favorite anyway.
Acts of service. I also think too, like, buy me flowers, they die. Pay this parking ticket.
Exactly.
I'm not on some fucking list later.
Yes.
A date you wish never happened.
Oh my God. I had a really boring one a couple weeks ago. It was just so boring. It was so boring. I was bored to tears. Like
it sucks.
I was like, why didn't you see Saltburn? And he was like, we were talking about it, and he was like, I don't know, like just seemed a bit like boring. Or like he had just like such an annoying answer to it, and I was like, we're so not compatible.
I think also too, once you like get one of those answers, you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
you're not coming back from this.
No, it was so bad. It was horrendous.
Craziest text you've ever sent?
Oh, I've sent some batshit ones, like absolutely batshit.
That's
ones.
your right.
Yeah, it's fun to like unload.
I did the one thing where you screenshot it and then I accidentally sent it to him.
I've done that.
Yeah,
I did that to.
And
a
I was
famous
like, I wanted
person.
you to see I wanted you to like see it from my perspective.
I didn't. I couldn't even
tried
lie.
to play it off.
I said, I'm really sorry, and he was like, were you sending that to your therapist? And I said, yeah, because I was.
Yeah. God. You're like, well. Don't do things that require me to screenshot your text.
Exactly.
Okay, and then of course the most unruly thing you've ever done on a date.
On a date, I don't know. I probably like left really fast, but I think that's good type of unruly because it's like if you're not feeling it, get out.
Yeah, leave. I think on my boyfriend and I third date, I was a little like twisted and just bit his lip so hard.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah, I was like
that. Yeah,
and,
hell yeah.
And afterward, he was like, it bled a little, and I was like, well,
you're like, good.
Don't never forget me.
And here you are, 8 years later. see guys bite people on dates.
Give him a little chomp chomp.
Yeah.
All right, you did it, girl.
Thank you for having me. You're the best.